27 through 22?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
27, I have the Giants.
I have the Chargers at 27. LAC. A lot of people think the Chargers could be a sneaky playoff team this year, but I don't really buy the whole Tyrod Taylor hype. There's a lot of Tyrod Taylor. What if Tyrod Taylor's the starter the whole year? You know, I definitely think Tyrod Taylor's getting benched through after maybe 5 weeks.
I don't know. Tyrod Taylor, I feel like he's a very much below average quarterback.
There's a reason he's not a starter anymore.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way.
However, so this 27 through 22 are the teams that are 99% not going to make the playoffs. However, there's still a chance, right?
Yeah.
The teams between 32 and 28, though, we all agree.
Yeah.
Let's be real. There's a very little chance that's happening. So, you think the Chargers have a very small chance of making the playoffs this year, correct?
Yeah, I think they have a very small chance. I think they have an okay defense, but I just don't buy their offense. They lost Melvin Gordon as well. Austin Eckler will be good.
With Phillip Rivers last year, who's a better quarterback, in my opinion, than Tyrod Taylor, they did not good.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why Phillip Rivers threw, I believe, the second most interceptions. Only Jameis Winston threw more, and yet they never put Tyrod Taylor in. They kept putting Phillip Rivers out there, and I think there's a reason for that.
Okay, let's move on. 26, I have Matt Stafford and the Lions.
Yeah, I have the Bears here at 26. I think the Lions may be a little bit better than the Bears this year, just because I just don't trust Mitchell Trubisky at all. After I'm kind of a Bears fan. I'm also kind of a Lions fan, and I just remember last year
they're both not going to be good.
I came into the season with very high expectations for the Bears. I thought they were a potential Super Bowl winning team last year.
Wow.
And they showed up and they went 6-8. I think they won the last 2 games, made it a pretty respectable 8-8. But still, Chicago just continued to disappoint me every game I watched last year, and I put them at 26
like the Falcons,
this year.
They're very off and on.
They're very off and on.
Very off and on.
And 2018.
I have the Bears a little better than you, but I have them shortly in this list too.
2018 was their first really good season in a while. I mean, Jay Cutler was okay, but Jay Cutler hadn't had a winning season, I think, in probably 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Trubisky had one good year, and last year he was very, very bad. And
what do you think about Nick Foles and Mr. Trubisky?
You know, Nick Foles is about the same level of a player as Trubisky. Last year, we didn't really see healthy Nick Foles, so maybe he'll come back, steal the starting job, and be the Ryan Tannehill of this year. But I highly doubt it.
Okay, let's move on to 25. I have the Dolphins.
And I have the Bengals at 25.
Wow. So, for me, the Dolphins are a very good football team. I think week 1, however, they're going to start out a little slow. And Brian Flores, I think he's a great coach, very underrated coach. Ryan Fitzpatrick, I think, great end of the year last year. But, however, I do think they're going to be better with Tua. And I think Tua's going to sit for, I don't know, for 6 weeks, 7 weeks. I don't know, somewhere around there. And I think they're going to heat up. I would not be surprised if the Dolphins end up at the end of the year in the mid-teen section, maybe late teens. So, look, I'm not saying they're a bad football team. I'm saying right now they're not great.
Now, here's my prediction, another crazy prediction for the Dolphins. Week 1, they play the Patriots at home.
Are you talking about the Dolphins or your team?
The Dolphins.
The Dolphins, okay.
I see week 1, Dolphins versus Patriots. I see the Dolphins winning that game. Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to be amazing. And everyone's going to be like, oh, why'd they draft Tua? They should have just started Ryan. Yeah. And then they'll lose a couple games, throw Tua out there, and end up having an okay season.
A couple? After 3 games?
I think after 3 games.
I think after 6.
Maybe 3, maybe 4.
Let's make predictions right now. Predictions. How many games? Go.
4 games of Fitzpatrick. That's my prediction.
On record, you have 4. On record, I have 7.
Okay. 7. That's a lot.
I think Ryan Fitzpatrick's going to do pretty good.
Ryan Fitzpatrick, yeah, I mean, he's okay. So I have the Dolphins a little bit higher than 25 just because I think they're going to open the season with a win, and there's going to be a bunch of Dolphins hype, and then it's going to, and similar to the Bengals, there's going to be a bunch of Bengals hype and a bunch of Dolphins hype, and then it will die down as they start to lose. But I have the Dolphins pretty high on my list. Number 25 for me is the Bengals. I think
we've already talked about the Bengals.
They're better than last year, but not great.
Okay, 24. I have the Bears.
And I have the Lions. So basically, the two of us just swapped 24 and 26.
And
Bears
I
and
think
Lions.
we can see either way, right?
Yeah, it can go either way. We both know they're below average football.
I think if their defense does do good and Mitch Trubisky / Nick Foles, I think that it's good that they have 2 opportunities, right?
Yeah.
If one quarterback fails, that they don't have a complete, if Russell Wilson gets injured, I feel like we're kind of screwed, right?
Uh-huh.
The Bears, however, is one of the few football teams that if their starting quote-unquote quarterback gets injured, they're not super screwed. So I won't be surprised if they make the playoffs. I really won't. But I also won't be surprised if they win 4 or 5 games this year. So, okay, 23 are the Raiders.
And
Las
I
Vegas.
have the Cleveland Browns, 23.
Wow.
The Baker Mayfield has just been such a disappointment in his first 2 seasons. I don't know about his third year. They have Case Keenum. Maybe he'll be the starter. Probably not. I think they do intend to go with Mayfield as much as they can, but
Yeah.
I mean, there's really the Browns continue every season each season for the past 2 years. There's been a bunch of Browns hype. First it was Mayfield, then it was
So I have the
Odell.
Browns higher than you. I think they're a borderline playoff team. And I think that purely not because of Baker Mayfield. I think Baker is an average, he has the potential is an average quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
And his floor is probably not in the league, honestly. And I think he's going to be somewhere around a low starting quarterback for the rest of his career.
Yeah.
/ a backup. You never know. He could be an average quarterback. I don't know. But I just think that their roster is so stacked that it'd be unfair to put them that low. So I'm gonna wait on the Browns for a little bit.
Yeah, I can see that. All right.
I mean, Nick Chubb, their defense is pretty good. Their receiving core.
Yeah.
So
All right, 22. Who do we got?
The Falcons.
Same here.
I have Falcons. Okay.
Falcons. All right, so we got through 27 through 22.
What do you think about the Falcons? Matt Ryan.
I think some people think they could be good. Maybe
I think Matt
maybe
Ryan's
they
a
won't.
below average quarterback right now.
No.
Right now, I cannot name
Disagree.
16 quarterbacks. Name me 16 quarterbacks are weird. We'll talk about this later, but I really don't think so. I don't think so. Maybe we could do a quarterback ranking later in this segment.
Maybe someday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe in a little bit. You never know. Let's stick around. Okay.
Yeah, we'll see. So let's see. In the 27 through 22, there was 2 teams that I had that you didn't have. The Bengals, who you had below, and the Dolphins, who I have above. I'm sorry.
You had the Chargers.
and I had the Chargers, who you had above. You had the Dolphins, I did not. And you had the Raiders, and I did not.
Yeah, so if you're going to pick one team to make the playoffs out of that 27 to 22, one team.
One team, probably. I hate to say it because I really don't think they're going to make the playoffs. But looking at these teams, I don't think any of them will.
The Browns?
I'm going to. I have them ranked 30th on my power rankings. Really bad.
Wow.
But I'm going to actually go with the Giants just because I think
Jeez,
Daniel Jones showed spurs of greatness last year.
Greatness? I would
If
say
he
spurs
can-
of averageness last year.
And this year, I think Daniel Jones will be worse than last year. And I think their defense will probably be a little better, but their offense will be overall worse. And so they're going to be the same team as far as record goes. But I think of all these teams, even though they're very low, I think they might actually have the highest ceiling.
Wow. I think out of my teams, I would have to go with either the Bears or the Falcons. The Bears have that defense. If Trubisky plays well, / Foles, I think they have a good shot. And the Falcons, you know how talented they are. I just don't really trust Matt Ryan and their scheme. They have to get a scheme, right? So every week they come into the team and you have no clue what type of Falcons you're going to get, right? And I think that's partly because they don't have an identity. I think they really got to find that. Are they going to be a pass-first team, a run-first team? Are they going to play defense?
Well, last year they were definitely
control
a
the clock?
pass-first team.
Yeah, I know, but they've also been, in the past, a run-first team, right?
Yeah, that was when Devontae Freeman was the top 5 back in the
That's
league.
what I mean. So I feel like they've been very wishy-washy. I think they either got to trust Matt Ryan and give the ball to Julio and do all that type of stuff, or they got to invest in their defense. I just think
their defense has gotten, I don't think, any better.
They're in a weird in-between stage that I don't like, but I would be surprised, but I wouldn't be super surprised if Falcons make the playoffs.